Hi everyone. I am going to walk you through some of the steps so that you can do your assignments 5.6 and 5.7. Some of the assignments from 5.6 are starting to come in, and I've got some examples of some folks who got it right exactly. They followed the instructions, and a couple other people that I think struggled a little bit with the instructions. Okay, so it's really important that we get the answers, or that we put it in the format that's specifically shown in the example and specifically explained in the instructions. Okay, why? Because when you turn in, we're going to be reading the chapters, and then see, overview part one, the accommodations. So just make sure that you read and go through these carefully. 5.1 explains what we're going to do. 5.2 and 5.3 get you started with what you're doing. And then 5.4 and 5.5, they could have been put together on one page, but I broke them up into two pages just to help make it a little easier. And then once you get your results from 5.4 and 5.5, you're going to put them on page 5.6 when you start your assignment. So 5.6 is going to explain how to do the assignment. And then um, once it explains the assignment, follow it exactly. You're going to take your results from these two parts, and then you're going to finish your work by um, starting the assignment, taking your results, plugging them in, and then once you've plugged those in, then I will have your outlines that I'm going to use to build a larger outline or a PowerPoint presentation that I will share for you as a study guide. Okay? So you need to do your part so that it makes it easy for me to put together a PowerPoint to give back to all of you so that you have that as a tool to study for the final. The second part is you're going to take, okay, in 5.6, you're basically going to identify 6 key points, 6 from chapter 1 and then 6 from chapter 2. So you're going to give me 12. And then from those 12, you may have to go back to the readings again, and the sections are like little paragraphs. Okay, so you're going to read that paragraph and then create bullet points that represent that section. And so you will have 12 sections written down. Everyone's going to have a different section. There's like 20 sections in chapter 1 and 20 sections in chapter 2. And so you're going to do 12 of them, and then you're going to pick your top 6 and create 6 test questions. 3 of them are going to be multiple choice, and 3 of them are going to be true false. Okay, so I got some examples of some of the students who started doing it. Some people got it exactly right. That means they followed my instructions correct, exactly the way I described them, and they can see my example that I gave you. So there's, you can read it and you can see it, what an example, how it should be. So I'm expecting you to do that, because if you want to earn 100% on these two assignments, you have to do it exactly that way. Okay. All right. So let's jump to 5.4, identifying the key concepts. Okay. This is a list right out of chapter 1 of your text, and I copied and cut and pasted the table of contents. That's why I have these number here. These are page numbers that you're going to need when you want to go back and read. Okay. And I've labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way to 16, because you are going to pick 6. Okay. Everyone's going to pick 6. But from when everyone picks 6, and you might have some duplicates, I have a feeling that some people are going to get something different, are going to learn something different from them. So this is an exercise in outlining, right? There's an exercise in studying how to study, and then you're going to share your work with other people. Okay, so here you're gonna pick six, but you don't decide what six you're gonna pick. You're gonna roll the dice and let the dice tell you what your six numbers in are. Okay, so here's the link. You don't even need to have dice. You just click on this link and it'll take you to this little machine for the dice roller. This is regular dice, right? A conventional dice. We're gonna go to a non-conventional dice. So here, this is two dice that are eight-sided. And in the assignment, it asks you to first do I have that right? Pardon me 1 second. I'm not sure how I lost the page. I'm going to go back to the modules and then key concepts pipe 5.4. Okay, so in 5.4, you got your 16 and you're going to get these numbers. So I rolled the dice and I got a 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 15. So this is what it's going to look like, kind of. Chapter 1, number 4, International Mechanical Codes. See? Number 4, International Mechanical Codes. So feel free to copy, cut, and paste, okay? So I've got my list for Chapter 1. Then I hit Next. Now guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to work on Chapter 2 and get my other 6. So here's the main list with page numbers. Roll the dice. Just follow these instructions. I just want to show you real quick. Go back. Here's the link to a dice roller. Here's a video that shows you how to use the dice roller. Okay, so follow the video if you don't understand the instructions. So follow the instructions. You got your 6 numbers, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15. They're all part of Chapter 1, so just kind of put it in this format. Later on, you're going to squeeze in bullet points between 4 and 8, 8 and 9, because this is just copying this, right? You haven't gotten your key concepts. So number 4 is going to ask you to go back and read page 4. Pardon me. Number 4, International Mechanical Codes, is on page 5. So you'd go to page 5, read that, and it'll help you do the next step. Not the, yeah, a couple steps ahead. So you do it again for part 2. Okay. And then once you've done that, now you've got another 6 set of 6 sections in chapter 2. Now you're ready to do your key points. Again, you go back, you can look and see what page number we're on. So this is the actual next page. 5.6 is your actual assignment. So you read, here's what an example. Now that you've randomly selected 6 sections, 6 from chapter 1 and 6 from chapter 2, you're going to now prepare and write each down into Canvas. Okay? So that list, if you know how to use Google and you've got your tabs at your top of your screen, you can right click and duplicate, and then you can have multiple tabs open to different sections. So when you start your assignment, you can click on the tab and go to another page that you have open. So let's do that. I'm going to duplicate. You won't see it, but I'm going to duplicate it. Got another one, and then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to go back to the previous page, and I'm going to have that there. And then, so when it's time for me to do my answers, I'll be ready to just click on the tab, and I'll do it again, I'll duplicate it. So I've got one page for chapter 2 with my list, and one page for chapter 1. So here's my assignment, ready to start my assignment. And then here's the instructions. Somewhere along the line, there's going to be a button that says click on start the assignment. So when it does, that's where you're going to start typing it in. Okay, so you can have them open and then jump to these pages so that you can copy. It doesn't let you copy the numbers for whatever reasons, but you can type the numbers in. Okay, so in this case, let's see. So you'd grab them from there and put them here, and then put your numbered list, not on the bottom of the page, but right in here, right where your assignment is. Okay, so you've got those there to go grab and copy, cut, and paste. And then once you do that, again, follow these instructions, which tells you that this is an example right here for chapter 2, number 1, code adoption. And then there's your bullet points. I went and read number 1, code adoption. And then I went and did number 2, which is, what is number 2? Go over here. Number 2 is adoption of the IRC, okay? Because of the roll of the dice, I'm doing number 1 and number 2. I might be doing number 1, number 2, number 5, number 6, number 10, number 15, okay? In this case, it actually came 1, 6, 7, 13, okay? So once you've done that, you've got your bullet points, just like this, chapter 2, then number it, because the number is to that section. Put your bullet points. This is your work right here. You've done all of that other stuff, rolling the dice and copy, cut, and pasting, so that you can go and read it and put some bullet points of what you want. My instructions say don't use periods. So don't use periods, because these are not full sentences. If you copy, cut, and paste a sentence in there, it might be like 2 lines long. Bullet points should be short and sweet. So if you copy it, put a sentence in there, that's okay. But then ask yourself, that is a little long. What can I do to make that shorter? Remove a few words, change a few words, so it's there. You get the main point. The IRC and the family of international codes are referred to as model codes. So the IRC and the family of codes, because there's other code books, okay? And then what about code adoption? Models for local ordinance are typically adopted. And then what else about code adoption? Model codes are updated on a 3-year cycle. What else about model codes? Changes in the codes often response to natural and human disasters. Okay? So all these points support this main point. Okay? Okay, so you've done that. You've entered it in. Now you've got 12, 6 from chapter 1, 6 from chapter 2. Let's look at an example of some of the work the students have turned in. This person turned it in, and let me make sure I don't, for privacy reasons, I'm not showing you their name. So this person did it perfect. Chapter 2, number 1, code adoption. And then they put their bullet points. So they originally started with 1, 7, and 8. Then they squeezed in these bullet points when they went and read chapter 1. This is what they got. What about code adoption? They're nationally recognized construction regulations adopted by jurisdictions. What else about code adoption? Model codes are updated every 3 years. What else about code adoption? Changes in codes are often in response to a natural human disaster. Okay. Number 7, authority and duty of building officials. Well, what about them? They enforce codes. That's the authority they have. That's their duty. What else? They review construction documents. Oh, is that what building officials do? Yeah. What else do? They issue permits. What else do? They conduct inspections. Oh, what else do? They maintain records. What else do? They make interpretations. What else do? They approve modifications and alternatives. Okay? So the whole reason the city has a building department and building inspectors, where did they get that whole concept? You go to the city of Palo Alto, they also have a building department. They also have building inspectors. How come they all came up with the same idea on how to do that? Building codes. They followed the models that were created by the International Code Council and all those other different books. And those books were made as models for them, for cities to adopt and put in their city code and regulations. See, so they didn't have to reinvent the wheel. Someone created the wheel and said, I'll let you copy it. And so then that's why all these cities have this format. So you as a contractor, when you go from one city to the next city, you're going to think, oh, they just changed the rules. No, they all have the same rules. Maybe a little bit different because maybe one is in earthquake territory. Maybe one's in fire territory. Maybe one's in the desert. Maybe one is in the ice cold region. So they have model codes that are kind of region specific and they've adopted them. Okay? So this person followed the instructions perfectly. So they got it right. They hit submit, turned it in. This is what they turned in to me. Now I'm going to show you an example of someone who got it wrong. Here, here they wrote Chapter 2, Legal Aspects of Permits and Inspections. Okay? I don't need to know that. All I need to know was Chapter 2. Then they wrote roles. And when they rolled, they said number 5, state laws, number 6, authorities, number 8. So this is right, but this is where you would have started, and then you would have insert your bullet points in between. Okay? So they wrote them separately, and then they went and elaborated on number 5. And then they said the IRC is not meant to override any local, state, federal laws. In many situations, the laws are replaced in guide. So they just copied it right out of the book. Okay? Yes, you can copy it from the book, but now that you've done this, this is like started but not finished, right? This, see, they squeezed it in, right? So they started with this, and then they started filling in between. So they got 5, 6, 8. See, there's 5, 6, 8, and 10. So you don't need this part anymore. They got minus signs in it, which is not what we don't need. We need bullet points. And then these are in full sentences, right? I ask you, no full sentences. And then see how this full sentence, this full sentence goes into the next sentence, which is 2 sentences, then there's 3 sentences, and then, so I said for 3 key concepts, not 3 sentences, 3 key concepts. So here, one concept is the IRC is not meant to override state, local, federal laws. Boom, that's one, no period. Now, what else about state and local laws? You can say, other laws replace, you could just say, in many situations, they replace the guidelines found in model codes. They replace guidelines. Another concept is state laws. State laws may replace building codes in areas. Just say may replace. Because see, it's already about, you don't need to say state laws against. We know it's about state laws. So that's where you can remove that. See, they say state laws twice. So really what you can say is they may replace building codes where energy conservation, modular housing, or disabilities. See? Or they can say they choose under which license engineers are required. So again, if you were to study from this, it's not going to help you study, right? Too much to remember. This is easier to remember because these are the main points. That's why they call them bullet points. So they're points. Let's look at this other person. This other person struggled also. I just want to show you this also. This person ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They did 8 from chapter 2, and I think they may have done 8 from chapter 1. Um, so this one needs a little work. Okay, it's started, it's just not finished. It needs to be cleaned up. That's all. It's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because this is easy to share. This is ready to turn into a PowerPoint presentation. So that I can take your work, put it into a larger format. So I'll read this and I will pick the best ones. I know that some people may have duplicate them, and then I will create it one large, and then I'll turn it back to you to give it to you as a study guide. Okay, so you're helping build the study guide. This other student here, they struggled a little bit. See, they used plus signs. And then they also numbered him in numerical order. They got chapter 2, number 1, adoption of the IRC. Number 2, authority and duties of building officials. Number 3, appendices. Number 4, permit applications. I don't think these are the numbers that match. I think they're just in numerical order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want the number, so let's see, number 3, appendices for chapter 2. So if I go look at chapter 2, chapter 2, number 2, authority and duty. So chapter 2, section 2. Chapter 2, oh, it is adoption of the IRC. And then authority and duties. Oh, that's adoption, not a, see, number 7 is authority and duties. So that's what this person did, is they just wrote them in numerical order. No, they need to be the numbers that were randomly selected, okay? But then they wrote building official duties under a plus sign, and then they wrote, well, what are their duties? These are all authority and duties of the building official. So you don't need to say building official duties, because we already know that that's what this is about. So what is their authority and what are their duties? Well, they enforce codes, they review construction documents, they issue permits, they issue notices. So they got it partly right, okay? But it's a little bit of extra stuff in there. So again, need to follow directions a little bit better. And then this person, they did it really well. They added some color, which is fine because they copied the way I did it, which is with a little bit color. But see, chapter 2, number 5, local and state laws. Number 6, authority, with some bullet points. Some bullet points. Now here they put sub points. I'm not going to take away points from that because it's not messy. It's still easy to read. And these, I say 3 to 8. So really, these 3 are talking about overrides. See? So somebody got that larger sentence, and that's why it's a larger sentence. But overrides happen for 3 reasons: energy conservation, manufacturing modular homes, and accessories. See, so this little outline makes sense. These sub points support this main point. These 3 points, they just speak for themselves. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See, they got 3 to 8 points. This person's same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. But this fourth one, well, the position demands. What are the demands from the official? Well, they demand skills, they demand knowledge, and they evaluate credibility of the department. You see? So this person's got it right. The other two need work. So I don't want complaints about the grade. If you want a chance to do it over again and get your grade up, fine. Or I'll send you a note and say, do you want me to grade it just like that? I'm going to give you 50%. Are you okay with 50% or do you want a do-over? So I'll give you a do-over. Okay. And then 5.7, let me get there. We're almost done. So that was first part of the assignment. The second part of your assignment, 5.7, is creating test questions. And what am I asking for you to do when you create a test question? Here's an example. See, chapter 1, number 4, those are your key concepts. Chapter 2, number 1, those are your key concepts. But now I want test questions for them. So now that you've got 12 sections, each with key concepts, you've got that, you've turned that in. Then what you're going to do is you're going to create, you had 12 sections with key concepts. From those 12, you're going to pick 6. And of those 6, 3 of them you'll make true false questions, and 3 of them you will make multiple choice questions. So here an example of your test questions. So this particular page, 5.7, is a discussion. So all you do is hit reply at the bottom of the page. And once you hit reply, you can post in this format. Here you go. See where it says CHP 2, no space. So that means chapter 2, because we're drawing from our questions, section 1, code adoption. So now from our work, we studied and we did bullet points for chapter 2, section 1. But we write it like this because this is our question. So, and we're going to study from this. So chapter 2, section 1 dash code adoption. And then that was, you're going to create, here's your test question. The IRC and family of international codes are updated every 5 years. Remember, one of them had a bullet point. Were they updated every 5 years? No, the answer is false. So that's the answer. Well, what is the correct answer? Model codes are updated on a 3-year cycle. Okay? I'm going to turn this into the exam. So now when the exam comes, everyone has posted all of these sample test questions, what the correct answer is, and the explanation that supports it. Chapter 2, section 6, authority. Well, what about authority? The IRC establishes a Department of Building Safety, commonly referred to as the Code Department. Are they called the Code Department? False. The IRC establishes a Department of Building and Safety, commonly referred to as the Building Department. See? So this is the question. Is it true or false? Is that a true or statement or a false statement? The answer is a false statement. And then a little supporting key point, right? That key point, the IRC establishes that came right. That's one of my key points, you see? So I'm bringing now from my chapter 6 authority, I'm grabbing one of my key points and I created a true false question. And so I can just copy it, see it, it's basically the same words. See, the IRC established a building safety, and then I just changed that one word. Instead of calling it building department, I called it codes department. See? So this is true, that is false. Now that you've given that me, now I can switch it around. I can make it a true question. Okay. So here's another example for Chapter 1, Section 3, International Building Codes. So one of the key points was the provisions of the IBC apply to the construction, alteration, maintenance, and occupancy of building codes and structures except detached blank. That's right out of the book, okay? And that is a sentence, okay? And what does the provisions in the IBC do? They are for one and two family dwellings. Yep. They are for townhouses. Yep. And they are for accessory structures. Yep. So that's one of those times where you make it all of the above. D, all of the above. Simple. Okay. So here's the instructions to do it. So let's take a look at what our first student did. They wrote building. So I don't see any, they just say Chapter 1, self-made questions. I know they're self-made questions. You don't need to tell me, right? That's what this whole assignment is about. But Chapter 1, what? Where does this come from? Which internal codes relates to heating and cooling systems? Well, what was your section? Chapter 1 what? Is it Chapter 1 Number 4, International Mechanical Code? Is that where that one came from? I don't know, right? Again, this is meant to help you study. So they're going to be there and you're going to post them into the discussion. Okay, so this person posted in the discussion, but getting it kind of wrong, right? They're not following directions. So even though these answers are probably correct, and it's cool that they're kind of doing blank and blank, but I didn't ask for blank and blank. One multiple choice. See, this one's going to say building codes have blank and blank. If it's scope, if this one is scope and limitation, see, that's one answer. Then remove the answer. Just write blank. Right? Scope and limitations. If a two-part question, there's and already in here. All of these, you see? So you don't need the and there. You just need one large blank. So this makes people think that I got to put two answers. Is it 1 and 2? No, it's 1. That and doesn't belong there, okay? So that's it. I know this video took a little bit time, but that's going to explain for you how to do both 5.7 and 5.2. If you got any questions, you email me, get back to me. I'll help you. But know that we're going to follow this format over and over for the rest of the semester, okay? So this might have been a little tricky understanding the instructions, but we're going to repeat these instructions over and over through the rest of the semester. If you need a second chance, you want a do-over from these people that they didn't volunteer, they were just elected because these are the first people to do it. Also note that there's a chance that you post this in the discussion and you will notice that in the instructions, optional, I allow you to go back and reply to your fellow students. So see how there's a reply when someone posts their comment in there, you can reply to anybody, right? And then say, oh yeah, I did the same section chapter you did, but I'm going to propose another question, a different question. So you can respond for up to possible 2 points each for a possible of 4 points. So you can go to respond to a couple of people, okay? And give them alternate. And you're not giving it to them, you're giving it to everybody and a chance for you to earn extra credit. And then 1 point will be deducted for each day it's turned in beyond the due date. So just get started now. Get that first part done so you don't lose points on that one. And then on this one, if you turn it in late, well, you can earn a couple extra points and still get 100% by being a little late. You can be, what is that, 1 point for each day? Yeah, 1 point for each day. So if you get 4 extra points, you can buy yourself 4 days to turn it in late and still get 100%. So that's cool. That's it. Thank you for listening. This video is just to help you better explain it. I know this video took 35 minutes, but probably save you an hour or 2 hours having to repeat your assignment and fix it and correct it. Okay, so there you go. If you have any questions, email me, send me something. If you want to meet for, excuse me, excuse me, if you want to meet for office hours, let me know. I'm here to help you guys get through the rest of the semester. All right, that's it. Thank you. Take care.